Also joining us right now is Rajya Sabha MP and former Union Minister P. Chidambaram, veteran Congress leader. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. A lot has happened in the Parliament, but if you look at outside the Parliament, you have the new criminal laws that have been enforced now. Of course, it did not have the kind of heated debates that the Parliament is witnessing right now. Nonetheless, how do you look at them? What are your big concerns?
The way the three criminal laws were passed and the way they are being implemented, we are not happy at all. In fact, there is stiff opposition to the manner in which the laws were passed and the manner in which the laws are implemented. My fear is, in the short run, there will be utter disarray in the administration of criminal justice. Each court will interpret it in its own way. Each high court will take its own view. And by the time this is all resolved by the Supreme Court, several months of utter disarray and confusion. In the medium term, several provisions of the laws will be challenged in various courts. And in the long run, every state government will come to the central government saying, since the matter is in the concurrent list, let the state legislature introduce its own amendments. And then there will be a further battle, which amendment of which state should be accepted by the central government and which amendment of which state should not be accepted. That is because the manner in which the laws were drafted and the manner in which they were passed.
Okay, you're mentioning about states moving amendments. In fact, Karnataka has already gone ahead and said that they will be moving an amendment. How is this going to play out on the ground? Do the states have that kind of right to go ahead and seek for amendments, or will this be a resolution? How is this going to play out on the ground?
See, the criminal law is a concurrent subject. Both the Parliament and the state legislature have the jurisdiction to pass laws. And in fact, the Indian Penal Code, the Criminal Procedure Code have state amendments approved by the central government under Article 254. Therefore, every state is competent to pass an amending law. It is not a resolution. They will pass an amendment law. But the law has to be submitted to the central government for a president's approval under Article 254. And normally, this central government will grant approval to the state amendment, which will be in force within the territory of that state. It will not apply to another state. But what attitude this government will adopt, I can't say. If a BJP government brings an amendment, and if a non-BJP government brings an amendment, what standards they will apply, I don't know.
Mr. Chidambaram, look at these kangaroo court cases that are playing out, the absolute injustice that's being meted out. Look at the crimes that are against women. Just today we saw about how there was acid being thrown at a woman. There are claims that at the heart of all of these, it's women. There's justice for women at the heart of all these new criminal laws. Do you see, do you agree with this?
What is the change? Please read my dissent notes and the dissent notes of other MPs who are members of the committee. I can demonstrate to anyone that 90 to 95% of the old Indian Penal Code text has been copied and pasted in the new law. 95% of the existing text of the Criminal Procedure Code has been copied and pasted in the new law. 99% of the text of the Indian Evidence Act has been copied and pasted in the new law. If the copy and paste amounts to 90 to 99% of the existing laws, what is the change you've brought about? It's all hype. What is the change? You've made some changes, one or two changes, we have welcomed it. But you have made some changes, you have also made retrograde provisions. Therefore, what should have been done is, if you are keeping 90 to 95% of the existing text, you should have only taken the existing law and brought about amendments. The amendments would have focused on the issue whether the amendment is an improvement or whether the amendment is a retrograde move. Instead of that, you've passed a so-called new law. It is not a new law. Every section has been renumbered, but the text is the same. And you are burying under this mass of words the few retrograde provisions and the few improvements. We have nothing against the improvements, but what about the retrograde provisions? What about the provisions which are no longer consistent with modern criminal jurisprudence? For example, death penalty has been retained. Solitary confinement has been added, which is another retrograde provision. It is a cruel and unusual punishment which is abolished all over the world. Then you have kept sedition, just given a different number. Therefore, there are serious issues with the changes you have made and buried it in an existing text with different section numbers.
Right. Mr. Chidambaram, thank you very much for taking out time and speaking to Mirror Now. Thank you.